One of the biggest reasons people never go after what they really want isn't the fear of failure, it's the fear of looking delusional. Because the moment you say you want more money, more impact, more confidence, more freedom, someone is going to look at you and say, "Who do you think you are?" And here's the truth no one tells you. Every single person who built a life they're proud of was called unrealistic, crazy, delusional, out of their mind at some point. What we call delusion is usually just vision that hasn't caught up to reality yet. And if you quit every time people don't understand your goals, you'll spend your whole life living inside of someone else's expectations rather than going for the life that you truly want. Get your notebooks. This is going to be a good one. Often, what people call being delusional is actually just having vision without evidence. For example, when Steve Jobs created the iPhone, everyone said, "This guy's delusional. There's no way that people are going to buy that. There's no way he's going to create that product." Then he made the product, and now people are like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's a genius." But they literally called him delusional when it was an idea. So, what many people call delusional is just having a vision without evidence yet. Great example. In my own life, for those who are new, my name is Lawrence. I'm a youth empowerment speaker. I help teen and young adults improve their self love, confidence, outlook on life, and I go to speak at schools and organizations. And I'm currently 19 years old, and I've been doing this since I was 15. And when I first had this idea, a lot of my family called me delusional. Understandably, because my mom told me that, well, why don't you go to college, get a degree just in case. And she wasn't trying to hold me back or trying to limit me by saying that. It was just from her perspective, you're going to go get paid to talk. It sounds delusional because at the time I had zero evidence. I had just some TikToks and Instagram posts I was making, and that was it. That was my business at the time. And naturally, she was a little confused, only because I had the vision without the evidence. Now that I have the evidence, it makes sense. I have my own office, I have my own business set up, I have my books. So when you're dreaming big and you're trying to achieve these big goals in your life, you have to understand that there's going to be a lot of times when people are just not going to get it. But once you have proof, now they can see something. But what I firstly want to address is the self doubt because when you have this big dream, such as I'm going to get into college and become a doctor, I'm going to be the first one in my entire family to become a doctor. I'm going to be the first business owner in my family. I'm going to get a 4.0 GPA. I'm going to get a girlfriend. I'm going to get my first job. Whatever your big delusional idea is, there's going to be this period where you're going to doubt yourself because you don't have evidence to say that. And up until this point, that's been too hard for you. You've been too shy and insecure to talk to people. You had trouble with managing your money, so starting a business would be crazy to you. You've never had a job, so getting your first job is crazy to you. No one in your family has gone to college, so it's crazy to you. That's too delusional. How do we build up confidence in this? You want to create a sense of evidence. What does that mean? When I first decided that I was going to pursue public speaking, I was really shy, nervous to get on camera. I would ramble on and on. Most of the stuff I said didn't make much sense, but I got good at it by simply doing it more and more and more. And every time when someone would tell me that, "Lawrence, that's delusional. There's no way that's going to work," I would remind myself, I have a track record now because at the time I had made some videos and none of my videos have become like, super viral. At least the long form ones. I had a few TikToks that got like had a TikTok that had 1 million views on it. But over time, building up a track record shows I can do this because I've got proof. And then I would just pursue it more and more. And inside of yourself, I talked about this a lot on my previous video. You want to basically build up an inner world where you're living that delusional life. You want to have an inner world where you are who you want to be. You've achieved that goal. You've got the dream body. You've got the dream relationship. You want to have like, a little fantasy land in your head. That's the best way to put it. So, by doing that, you're able to realize what you are capable of because you see it in here. And then you create the identity of that person. So, if I were the first doctor in my family, how would I act? I would study hard. I would take my classes seriously. I would show up to class on time. I would read a lot. What would I be doing? That's what you want to do. And when you're being quote unquote delusional and you're pursuing that dream and that idea, unfortunately, that's going to make a lot of people feel uncomfortable. Well, Lars, why would people feel uncomfortable that I'm pursuing my dreams? Because it reminds them that they're capable of that too, but they're not putting in the work. They're not doing what is necessary to get there. So a lot of people are going to try to hold you back and make you doubt yourself because they doubt themselves. And that doesn't mean that you go get mad at them. I'm simply saying it because it's going to happen. There's going to be a period where people say, "Why are you making those videos online? Why are you studying so hard? Why are you at the library when we're all out partying? Why are you not coming to the party and instead you're reading a book? Why? You're weird. You're weird for believing in yourself. You're weird because you want to do something that is beneficial. You're weird because you believe that you can." And most of the time, when people are doing that, it's because they don't believe in themselves. So at a certain point, you just understand that you can't make the blind see. You can't make the deaf hear. And you can't make people who don't believe. You just can't. But you have to be the one to believe in yourself. So that means at the start, you're going to have to be delusional. Like at the start, I had zero evidence that this was going to work. Zero evidence. I started my channel, zero subscribers. I started my videos, zero views. I started this business with very little proof, but I had faith. I had belief in myself. I knew somehow, some way, this is going to work. I don't know how. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I know it will. And you have to remind yourself of that. If you want to become the first doctor in your family, right now, you might have zero clue how to do it. You might have zero clue how are you going to afford tuition? How are you going to get into college? How are you going to make it? How are you going to get the grades necessary? How are you going to get to medical school? How are you going to do it? You have zero clue. But you know somehow, some way, no matter what, it's happening. And you're definite. Definiteness of purpose is like there's no other way. That's how I'm trying to articulate it the best way I can. When you become absolutely definite that it's happening. It's like mountains are moved. It's as if everything just happens in perfect divine order. An example in my life is Many months ago, so last year, I made a post on LinkedIn, which is it's like social media but for professionals. And there was a group, it's called Need a Speaker, Be a Speaker. I made a post in there, just explaining who I am and what I do because hey, I'm trying my best out here. Anybody got some tips? I met somebody. That person introduced me to somebody else who happened to be the guy who created my website. From that point on, I connected with other people who put me in contact with a group called Speaker Hub. Speaker Hub is ran by a guy named Ron Story. Ron Story is the guy who runs the group Need a Speaker, Be a Speaker. And think to that, my life had just transformed. I've been able to get in contact with podcasts. I've been able to improve as a business owner. I've been able to improve as a speaker. I've been able to improve my confidence. I have been able to achieve such tremendous things because I have a definiteness of purpose. It's unwavering. It's like, yes, there's time when I have doubts. There's time when I'm like, man, how am I going to make it happen? And I remind myself, I don't need to know how because I know it's already going to happen. You need to remind yourself that you might not know how, but you know it will. And when people say, well, that's delusional, there's no way that's going to happen. When people went to the moon, that was delusional. But then we did it. When people invented fire, like think of it this way. When we were able to control fire, people would have said that was delusional, but then we did it. When we were able to create the light bulb, everyone thought that was delusional, but then we did it. When the Wright brothers took a bicycle engine and some paper and some twigs and made a plane, everyone said that's delusional, but then they did it. And now we got jumbo jets. So when you feel like, man, that's too big, there's no way, I'm being delusional. Your idea is not harder than getting to the moon. Your idea is not harder than inventing the light bulb. Your idea is not harder than creating the iPhone. Your idea is not harder than creating Wi Fi. So, yes, it might be difficult right now. I understand. It might be stressful. You might be like, how in the world am I going to do it? You don't need to know how. You just need to know that you will. You need to believe that you will. You need to have faith that you will. And faith is not belief in what you can see. Faith is belief in what you can't see. Faith is belief in the vision, not belief in the material. We walk by faith, not by sight. We walk by faith, not by sight. Meaning, I don't need to see how I will get there because I know I will get there. I don't need to know how I'm going to achieve it because I know I will achieve it. I don't need to know how because I know I already will. I don't need to know how I will win the battle because the battle is already won because I know it is. And we need to learn how to have that faith. So how do we do this, Lawrence? Like, okay, Lawrence, you're being really motivational. You're really getting us pumped up. I'm feeling amped. How do we make this practical? Okay, as I tell people all the time, get yourself a journal and write this stuff down. Give me a second. I'm back. Okay. All right, right here, just like this. So I have this piece of paper that's like taped to my wall over there, and on it is basically like my best version. Hold up, let me get my laptop charger before they die on me. I'm keeping this in there, by the way. All right, there we go. My laptop. Yeah, my laptop's about to die. I had to plug that back in. But yeah, right here, I had this paper, and it's like my best version. So it's like the characteristics of my best self. Like this is my dream self, my dream body, dream relationship. How does he live his life day to day? How does he spend his time? What does he talk about? What does he do? How does he live his life? How does he see himself? What is his character traits? What is how does he treat other people? What is his standard? Like that is my dream self right there. And the way you get clear about that is by journaling. Because in journaling, you're able to spend time with yourself and get to know you. Why do I do what I do? Why do I doubt myself? Oh, well, you doubt yourself because when you was growing up, people used to make fun of you for that. Well, why do I still hold on to that? You hold on to that because a part of you didn't heal from it. How do I heal that part of me? Well, you have to remind yourself that I am loved. As weird as it might seem, you have to say that to yourself sometimes. You have to remind yourself that you matter. You have to remind yourself that you can. You have to remind yourself that you are worthy. Because whether you're religious, spiritual, or whatever, at the end of the day, you're a child of God. Or if you want to go just look at it scientifically, like just on a scientific level, the reason your blood is red is because of hemoglobin, which is a like chemical, well, it's a molecule, and that has iron in it. That the molecule iron, which makes up metal. How does iron form? Inside of dead stars. The only way that iron naturally forms, which is inside of you, is when a star explodes. You are literally made from exploding stars. That's factual. You are literally a child of God. You are literally a divine creation from the universe, God, spirit, whatever you want to say. So when you doubt yourself, when you say, man, there's no way I can, there's no way. You got the whole universe backing you up. You got God backing you up. You should walk by faith, not by sight. And I know that it's hard because, you look at the bank account is low. You look at the driveway, ain't no car. You look at the relationship, ain't nobody there. You look at the grades are low. But you have to say to yourself, I don't know how, but I know I will. I don't know how I'm going to improve my grades, but I know I will. I don't know how I'm going to get the relationship, but I know I will. I don't know how I'm going to get that job, but I know I will. I don't know how, but I know I will. And if I don't get the thing I want, I'm getting something better. If I don't get what I want, I'm getting something better. Because maybe you wanted a job that was going to pay you $15 an hour, but they said no. Come to find, you stressed out. You're like, man, I really wanted this job. It just didn't go right. But boom, the next week, you get another job. They say we're gonna pay you 25 an hour. They paying you $10 extra. Or even better, you might end up going down a path where you start your own business or you start becoming a car salesman and you're the best one in the whole state. And now you become like a world famous car salesman like that guy Andy Elliott. You never know because you don't need to know how. You just need to know that you will. It's being definite. Like I said earlier, you have to be definite. There's no if and but, none of it. It just is. It is. When I come on here and I say I'm the world's best youth empowerment speaker, there's no alternative. I just am. And other people can have their opinions. Other people can say, man, this guy's delusional. I don't like him. But watching a few years when I got millions of subscribers, millions of Instagram followers, and I'm the most in-demand public speaker for schools ever. Oh, they gonna swallow their words on that one. And it's not about needing to prove other people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. A lot of times, and myself included, everything I come on here and I say to other people, I say it to myself too. So don't think I'm just telling you, I'm telling myself too at the same time. Often we get so focused on proving other people wrong that we forget to prove ourselves right. Because I understand, people might have bullied you because I got bullied too. So you might be thinking like I'm gonna prove all those people wrong who doubted me and all them people who's mean to me. But no, prove yourself right. Prove yourself right. Prove to yourself that you can. Prove to yourself that you're able. Prove to yourself that you are capable. Prove to yourself that you are who you say you are because you are. Remind yourself every day. I don't know how I'm going to achieve that goal, but I know I will. I don't know how I'm gonna get that apartment, but I know I will. I don't know how I'm gonna have that relationship. I don't know how I'm gonna improve my grades. I don't know how I'm gonna get into college. I don't know how I'm gonna get into trade school, but I know I will. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video for more content. You can also purchase my books and get one-on-one coaching calls below. Have a good one.